Someone spoke badly about you this week. You may know it, you may not, but it happened. And if you are like most people, the mere idea makes you uncomfortable. We live chained to the opinions of others. We measure our words out of fear of judgment. We give up dreams out of fear of ridicule. And a single criticism can ruin our entire day, even if we received 100 compliments. The ancient Stoics knew this prison, and they found the key to escape it. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire surrounded by flatterers and enemies, and he learned to depend on neither. Epictetus was born a slave, was humiliated for years, and became the freest man in Rome because no one could touch his mind. They discovered that immunity to criticism is not inherited and is not a matter of luck. It is a skill, and it can be trained. In this video, you will learn 7 Stoic keys to become immune to criticism and opinions. 7 keys so that the comments of others stop governing your mood, so that you can respond with the calm of one who cannot be wounded, and so that you can live by your own judgment and not by the shifting verdict of the crowd. When it ends, you will see criticism with different eyes, not as arrows, but as wind. Breathe deep, open your mind, because the first key begins right now. The first key to becoming immune to criticism is understanding a simple truth. The opinion of others is not under your control, and what is not under your control does not deserve your peace. Epictetus taught this as the foundation of his entire philosophy. There are things that depend on you, your judgments, your decisions, your actions, and things that do not depend on you, and among them is what other people think of you. You can be the best person in the world, and someone will still criticize you. You can do everything right, and someone will still find a flaw. There is no way of living that pleases everyone, and chasing that universal approval is chasing the wind. Think of how much energy you have spent trying to be liked, measuring your words out of fear of judgment, replaying at night what someone said about you. All that energy you handed over to something you will never govern. The Stoic draws a clear line. From the door of his mind inward, he rules. From the door outward, the world rules. When someone criticizes you, that happens outside your door. You decide whether to let it in. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man of his time, wrote that he had stopped worrying about what others thought of him because he had enough work governing his own soul. If an emperor gave up controlling opinions, who are you to attempt it? Today, when you notice that a criticism hurts, ask yourself this question: is this under my control? If the answer is no, breathe, release it, and return to the only thing that was ever yours, your own conduct. That habit, repeated every day, is the foundation on which all your immunity is built. The second key is discovering that every criticism says more about the one who throws it than about the one who receives it. When someone attacks you, they are showing you their inside without meaning to. They show you their wounds, their envy, their frustrations, their way of seeing the world. The one who despises the success of others is usually bitter about his own. The one who mocks those who try is almost always someone who never dared. The one who judges with cruelty reveals that he lives under a cruel judge inside his own head. The Stoics understood this with surgical clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote that when someone acts wrongly against you, he does so out of ignorance, because he cannot tell good from evil, and that his fault belongs to him, not to you. The offense stays with the offender. Think about it calmly. If a wise and serene man observes your work, he will give you advice with respect. If a broken man observes it, he will spit venom. The same work, 2 different reactions. The difference was never in you, it was in them. That is why taking every criticism as a truth about yourself is a beginner's mistake. Criticism is a portrait of the critic. This does not mean that everyone who gives an opinion is broken. It means that the shape of the criticism betrays the character of its author. Contempt betrays smallness. Mockery betrays fear. Cruelty betrays pain. Today, when someone throws a hurtful judgment at you, do not ask, "What does this say about me?" Ask, "What does this say about him?" You will see how the sting loses its force almost instantly, because you will understand that they were not describing you. They were confessing themselves. And with that new gaze, no foreign word will ever again weigh more than your own truth. The third key is to install within yourself the only tribunal whose verdict matters, your own judgment. Most people live before an invisible jury. Before dressing, speaking, or deciding, they mentally consult what others will think. They live in a permanent trial where the judges change every day and never issue a final sentence. Today they are applauded, tomorrow they are condemned, and their peace rises and falls with that foreign verdict like a leaf in the wind. The Stoic closes that courtroom and opens another, the court of his own conscience. He asks himself every night whether he acted with justice, whether he was honest, whether he fulfilled his duty, whether he treated others with humanity. If the answer is yes, he sleeps peacefully even if the entire world boos him. If the answer is no, he corrects himself even if the entire world applauds him. That is the difference between having a center and not having one. Seneca said that the applause of the crowd adds nothing to virtue, and that often what the multitude celebrates should embarrass us. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that he had never seen anyone find peace in the opinion of others, but he had seen it in the rightness of their own actions. Notice something curious. We demand proof from a stranger before lending him money, yet we hand our self-worth to the first stranger who gives an opinion. It is absurd. Your self-worth deserves a more serious judge, and that judge is you, with your principles as the code. Tonight, before sleeping, hold your own trial. Review the day and pass honest sentence on your conduct. If you learn to answer to yourself, no external opinion will ever again hold the power of condemnation over your life. That is the silent power of having your own tribunal. The fourth key is understanding that you are not the image others hold of you. Every person who knows you keeps a version of you in their mind, and none of those versions is you. They are portraits painted with each person's eyes, mixed with their memories, their prejudices, their wounds, and their expectations. To one you are cold, to another affectionate. To one arrogant, to another confident. To one a failure, to another an example. If all those images contradict each other, it is evident that none of them is the truth. They are distorted mirrors, and you have suffered for years trying to look good in mirrors that distort. The Stoics taught that it is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. Apply that to yourself. What hurts you is not what you are, but the judgment someone fabricated about you. And that judgment lives in someone else's head, in a territory where you do not dwell. That a man imagines you petty does not make you petty, just as imagining you a king does not crown you. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we are masters of our own mind and of nothing else. The image others have of you lives in their minds. It is their property, not yours. To stop carrying it is to drop a weight that was never yours to bear. Your real identity is built elsewhere, in what you do when no one is watching, in your values sustained over time, in your word kept. Today, when your reputation worries you, repeat this idea: I do not live in anyone's mind. And then spend that hour, the one you were going to waste imagining what they think, silently improving what you do. The fifth key is practical. When facing criticism, respond with serenity or with silence, never from the wound. Observe what happens when someone answers an attack with rage. In that instant, he confirms to everyone that the blow landed. He hands control of his emotions to the attacker, and he turns a passing opinion into a lasting war. The one who loses his calm loses the fight, even if he wins the argument. The Stoics knew a secret that psychology confirms today. You cannot control the first sting you feel when criticized, but you can control what you do 1 second later. In that second lives your freedom. Epictetus, who was a slave and endured humiliation throughout his youth, taught his students that if someone spoke badly of them, they should not defend themselves with fury, but reply that the critic fell short because he did not know the rest of their flaws. That answer disarms, because it shows a man so secure that he can joke about his own imperfection. There are two dignified responses to an attack. The first is serenity, answering with a calm voice, with facts, without venom, like someone who explains rather than someone who defends himself. The second is silence. Not everything deserves an answer, and sometimes staying quiet is the most elegant way of saying that the opinion did not reach your height. The silence of the strong is not weakness. It is a wall against which the critic exhausts himself alone. Today, when you receive a hurtful comment, apply the rule of the second. Feel the sting, take one breath, and consciously choose between serenity and silence. With every such choice, your skin turns to marble, and the one who wanted to wound you discovers he is striking a statue. The sixth key separates the Stoic from the merely proud. Being immune to criticism does not mean becoming deaf. It means learning to filter it. Because there are two kinds of criticism, and confusing them is an expensive mistake. There is unjust criticism, born of envy, spite, or ignorance, and that one must slide off you like water off marble. But there is also just criticism, the kind that points out a real error, and that one is a gift disguised as a blow. The fool rejects both and never improves. The weak man accepts both and lives dragged around. The wise man tells them apart, discards one, and uses the other. The Stoics were the first to seek correction. Seneca asked his friends to point out his flaws without mercy, because he preferred a truth that hurts to a compliment that numbs. Marcus Aurelius gave thanks in his meditations to every teacher who had corrected his character. They understood that wounded pride is a cheap price to pay for improvement. How do you tell one criticism from the other? Ask yourself 3 questions. First, the one who says it, does he know what he is talking about, or does he only opine from the sidelines? Second, what does it point to, a concrete fact you can verify, or a vague judgment about your person? Third, how does it help you? Can you use it to correct something specific, or does it only serve to sink you? If the criticism comes from someone competent, points to something concrete, and allows you to improve, swallow your pride and use it. If it fails those tests, discard it without resentment and continue on your way. Today, recall the last criticism you received and run it through those 3 questions honestly. You will learn more from that exam than from 1,000 compliments, because flattery caresses you, but only just criticism sculpts you. The 7th and final key is the one that holds up all the others. Live according to your principles, and the opinions of others will naturally lose their power over you. Here lies the deep secret of Stoic immunity. Criticism only truly hurts when there is doubt inside you. If you do not know who you are or what you stand for, every external opinion becomes a verdict, because you have nothing solid to compare it against. But when you have defined your principles and you keep them every day, criticism crashes into something solid. They call you lazy, and you know you rose at dawn to work. They call you selfish, and you know who you helped this week. They call you a failure, and you know you are building something they cannot see. The false opinion finds no crack to enter through, because your conduct refutes it before your own tribunal. That is why the work of the Stoic is not to cover his ears. It is to build a character so coherent that ears stop matching. Marcus Aurelius summed it up in one devastating sentence. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Every minute you spend defending yourself before others is a minute you do not spend being who you claim to be. And the best answer to all criticism is a life that contradicts it. Time does the rest. The words of others are carried off by the wind, but your repeated actions remain, and in the end, even your critics will have to fall silent before the evidence. Today, write down 3 principles that define who you want to be, 3 clear and non-negotiable lines. And tomorrow, keep them. Because a life lived by principles needs no defense, it defends itself, and that is true immunity. These 7 keys are an armor forged through practice. Remember that the opinion of others is not under your control, that every criticism portrays the critic, that your only tribunal is your own conscience, and that you are not the image others keep of you. Always respond with serenity or with silence. Filter just criticism from unjust criticism, and above all, live according to your principles, because a coherent life is the only defense that needs no words. Starting tomorrow, when someone gives an opinion about you, you will no longer feel an arrow, you will feel wind. And the wind does not knock down the one who has roots. If this video has helped you drop the weight of opinions, hit the like button and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom every night. Good night, and live well.